The untold story of the British Empire's first victims, England, Scotland, and Ireland. When we think of the British Empire's rise, we often imagine vast colonies overseas, India, Africa, and the Americas. But what if we told you that the first victims of imperial expansion weren't in distant lands, but right at home? Before the British elite ruled the world, they first conquered their own people, England, Scotland, and Ireland. This is the untold story of oppression, resistance, and survival. In the heart of England, the ruling class's grip tightened over the centuries. The landowning elite controlled wealth and power, leaving commoners in a cycle of poverty. The Peasants' Revolt of 1381 saw thousands rise against taxation and feudal oppression, but the rebellion was crushed and its leaders executed. This was just the beginning of a pattern that would spread across Britain and beyond. In Scotland, the story was even more brutal. After the failed Jacobite uprisings in the 18th century, the British government sought to break the power of the Highland clans. The Highland Clearances saw thousands of Scottish families evicted from their lands. Entire villages were burned as people were forced to flee, many to North America, never to return. The culture, language, and way of life of the Scottish Highlands were nearly wiped out. The Welsh people suffered a different kind of suppression. The British government sought to erase the Welsh language, banning its use in schools through the infamous Welsh Not punishment. Children caught speaking Welsh were humiliated, and over time the language nearly disappeared. This was cultural imperialism in its purest form, controlling people by stripping away their identity. Perhaps the most devastating example of British neglect was the Great Irish Famine of the 1840s. While history books often blame a potato blight, the real cause was British policy. During the famine, Ireland continued exporting food to Britain, while millions of Irish people starved. Over 1 million died, and another million fled, forever changing the Irish diaspora. The famine wasn't just a tragedy, it was the result of deliberate political choices. The British Empire's expansion overseas is well documented, but before it dominated the world, it first subdued its own people. The pain of this history still echoes today in movements for independence, cultural revival, and national pride. Now, the question remains, if this history had been different, would the British Empire have even existed? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden history.